Some of the testimony you will hear them deliver today does not reflect well on influential individuals and agencies within the U.S. federal government and perhaps some of our contractors.
Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the most noteworthy moments from this historic congressional hearing, the results of which may see the American government open up about extraterrestrial activities.
AARO and the Pentagon have broken the law by not revealing a significant body of information about UAPs, including military intelligence databases that have evidence of their existence as physical craft.
Number 10. Nancy Mace blasts the Department of Defense.
Non-human intelligence exists. Non-human intelligence has been interacting with humanity. This interaction is not new, and it's been ongoing, and there are unelected people in the government that are aware of that.
Spearheaded by the Committee on Oversight and Accountability, the November 13, 2024 hearing on UAPs, entitled Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena, Exposing the Truth, got off to a fiery start, courtesy of outspoken Republican Congresswoman Nancy Mace of South Carolina.
No amount of outside pressure would ever keep me from pursuing a subject to ground, come hell or high water. On that score, I want to thank our witnesses for being here. We have before us a panel of individuals accomplished in the military, in civilian government, in science, and in journalism.
True to the committee's goals and intentions, Mace explained that the hearing had been convened in the interest of transparency to taxpayers. Specifically, Representative Mace addressed the need for results, whether they identify the cause and true nature of UAPs or yield nothing at all. In perhaps her boldest moment, Mace noted that the Pentagon, quote, has failed 6 consecutive audits and that it had never successfully passed one.
Adding to this is a runaway overclassification of documents and materials, a reluctance to declassify materials when appropriate, and at times an outright refusal to share critical information with Congress.
Number 9. Luis Elizondo's explosive testimony.
Let me be clear. UAP are real. Advanced technologies not made by our government or any other government are monitoring sensitive military installations around the globe. Furthermore, the U.S. is in possession of UAP technologies, as are some of our adversaries.
Author and media personality Elizondo held nothing back during his testimony. This probably wasn't all that surprising to those who have followed his career. The self-described former Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program Director has, since at least 2017, been vocal about what he claims is a wide-ranging government conspiracy.
I believe we are in the midst of a multi-decade secretive arms race, one funded by misallocated taxpayer dollars and hidden from our elected representatives and oversight bodies.
That would be to keep the public in the dark about UAPs, and particularly their possible extraterrestrial origins. Although Elizondo's statement was by far the briefest of the men called to testify in front of Congress, it's hard to argue that it packed the biggest punch. Elizondo openly accused a small cadre within our own government of creating a culture of suppression and intimidation over the topic.
To the incoming administration and Congress, I say to you, we need immediate public transparency, and this hearing is an important step on that journey. If we approach the UAP topic in the same way as we, as Americans, have met other challenges, we can restore our faith in our government institutions.
Number 8. A mysterious white orb over Kuwait.
And since my reporting on this Immaculate Constellation last month, another source came forward who told me that they saw a roughly 13-minute-long, high-definition, full-color video of a white orb UAP coming out of the ocean approximately 20 miles off the coast of Kuwait.
Michael Schellenberger's testimony expressed the environmental journalist's belief that there is, quote, a growing body of evidence that the government is not being transparent about what it knows about unidentified anomalous phenomena, UAP, formerly called UFOs.
It was filmed from a helicopter. Then halfway through the video, the person said the orb is joined by another orb that briefly comes into the frame from the left before rapidly moving again out of the frame.
To his point, Schellenberger shared several examples from a Whistleblowers report that described several confounding military encounters with supposed UAPs. Most notably of all, Schellenberger revealed that he had been informed of a, quote, 3-minute-long, high-definition, full-color video of a white orb UAP coming out of the ocean approximately 20 miles off the coast of Kuwait, end quote, declining to name his source.
The person discovered the video on SIPR, the Secure Internet Protocol Router Network, which the DoD uses to transmit classified information.
Number 7. Representative Lauren Boebert takes a jab at President Biden.
Now that we have all been cautioned in this committee hearing that the mention of Pentagon's Immaculate Constellation program could put us on a list, well, I already find myself on many lists, I'm sure. So I speak my mind often, so why not just keep going with it?
Don't worry, we'll get to the secret, shadowy Immaculate Constellation and what exactly that means in a little bit. For now, though, we'll focus on Colorado Representative Lauren Boebert's commentary on it.
May as well just go all out and say it. The earth is flat, birds are government drones, and we've never set foot on the moon, and Joe Biden received 81 million votes in the 2020 election.
The controversial, outspoken Congresswoman has been a staunch ally of President-elect Trump and has repeatedly reaffirmed his false claims that his 2020 electoral defeat of Joe Biden was illegitimate. In a move that was perhaps unsurprising to those familiar with Boebert's previously stated positions, she jokingly rattled off a list of claims that might get her in trouble with the Department of Defense, including a pointed comment about President Biden's 2020 vote count.
So let's just see how many lists we could get on here today. But Mr. Schellenberger, I wanted to ask you, I think I understand from this hearing that you would agree that classifying information like this is not in the best interests of the people. Is that correct?
Number 6. Alzando doesn't rule out the possibility of aliens.
Okay, Mr. Alzando, you state in your testimony that, quote, advanced technologies not by our government or any other government are monitoring sensitive military installations around the globe, end quote. If these technologies are not made by any government, who's making them? Private companies, or are you implying they are crafted by a non-human intelligence?
Luis Elizondo's 2024 memoir, Imminent, Inside the Pentagon's Hunt for UFOs, was an instant smash hit, debuting at #1 on the New York Times bestseller list. Elizondo's book details seemingly unbelievable accounts of extraterrestrial activity on U.S. soil, as well as clandestine government efforts to cover it up.
Are these private companies you're implying, or is this non-human intelligence?
It may be both.
Okay.
When it comes to Blue Force Technologies, I would not be able to discuss
Okay.
that.
Are you read into secret UAP crash retrieval programs?
We would have to have a conversation in a closed session, ma'am.
Testifying before Congress, Elizondo claimed that a previously signed document limited his ability to speak publicly about UAPs, and that the material covered in Imminent represents what he is legally permitted to discuss. As such, Elizondo stated unequivocally that the U.S. government has been involved in UAP crash retrieval operations, and that the search for alien life definitely had an impact.
I submitted for my book through the DOPSR process, which took a year for it to be reviewed. And what is in the book is what I was told I'm allowed to talk about.
Has the government conducted secret UAP crash retrieval programs, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, were they designed to identify and reverse engineer alien craft, yes or no?
Yes.
Number 5, Immaculate Constellation.
Representative Luna just told me if I say Immaculate Constellation, I'll be on some list. Maybe a FISA warrant, so come at me, bro, I guess. But without objection, entered in the record.
See, we told you we were getting there. Perhaps the most mysterious aspect of the much-anticipated congressional hearing. Multiple participants in Exposing the Truth semi-seriously remarked that simply mentioning the existence of the top-secret government UAP research would get them, quote, put on a list. Schellenberger emerged as the main proponent of not only the program's existence, but of its potential dangers.
The report that was just shared with Congress says Immaculate Constellation serves as a central or parent USAP that consolidates observations of UAPs by both tasked and untasked collection platforms. Immaculate Constellation includes high-quality imagery intelligence and measurement and signature intelligence of UAPs, the Whistleblowers report adds.
The author testified that, quote, a source warned that simply printing the name Immaculate Constellation could trigger government surveillance of me under the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, FISA, of whoever publishes it. As we mentioned earlier, Schellenberger declined to divulge the nature of any of his sources, but confirmed that they are either present or former U.S. government officials.
I think that what the American people need to know is that the U.S. military and intelligence community are sitting on a huge amount of visual and other information, still photos, video photos, other sensor information, and they have for a very long time. And it's not those fuzzy photos and videos that we've been given. There's very clear
High-res.
high resolution.
Number 4, Michael Gold keeps it light.
The NASA brand is synonymous with hope, optimism, and credibility. If you were to take a walk down the National Mall, you would immediately see the NASA logo on T-shirts, hats, and bumper stickers. Few federal agencies enjoy this kind of popularity. I've never seen anyone wearing an Office of Personnel Management T-shirt.
In stark contrast to Alzando and Schellenberger's testimonies, ex-NASA official Michael Gold struck a light, even occasionally humorous tone in his. Gold emphasized the instrumental roles that science and academia carry out in helping to shape our understanding of the world, and included the formal study of UAPs under that umbrella.
NASA could, with relatively little cost and effort, host symposia on UAP, or even just participate in existing panels examining the topic. NASA personnel stepping forward and participating in such discussions would make a powerful statement to the scientific community that UAP should be taken seriously and researched accordingly.
For context, Gold has worked as NASA's former Associate Administrator of Space Policy and Partnerships and is currently the Chief Growth Officer at Redwire, an aerospace manufacturer. It also seems important to note that while employed at NASA, Gold was a member of its independent UAP study team. In his testimony, Gold was optimistic about the part his former employer could play in combating the stigmatization of UAP research.
For relatively little cost and effort, NASA could create an AI or ML algorithm that could search the agency's archives for anomalous phenomena. I suspect that such an effort would not only result in information that will help us to understand UAP, but could result in data that will assist in other areas of scientific inquiry, such as anomalous weather or meteorite activity.
Number 3. Timothy Galladay's disappearing email.
During this exercise, I received an email on Navy's secure network from the operations officer of U.S. Fleet Forces Command. The email is addressed to all the subordinate commanders, and the subject line read in all capital letters, "Urgent Safety of Flight Issue." The text of the email was brief but alarming, with words to the effect, "If any of you know what these are, tell me ASAP."
The former Assistant Secretary of Commerce for Oceans and Atmosphere under President Donald Trump is a well-known member of the UFO community and a major proponent of declassifying UAP research in the interest of public awareness. Galladay's testimony painted an alarming picture of not only what UAPs may be capable of, but the dangers inherent in allowing for overprotective, overreaching government secrecy on the matter.
The now declassified video showed an unidentified object exhibiting flight and structural characteristics unlike anything in our arsenal. The implication of the email was clear. The author was asking whether any of the recipients were aware of classified technology demonstrations that could explain these objects.
The retired Rear Admiral described his involvement with the Go Fast video, one of the most famous depictions of a UAP to date. Galladay testified that an email containing the video had been scrubbed from his account as well as the accounts of other officials to whom he'd spoken.
The very next day, that email disappeared from my account and those of the other recipients without explanation. Moreover, the commander of Fleet Forces Command and the operations officer never discussed the subject. Even during weekly meetings specifically designed to address issues affecting exercises like the one in which the Theodore Roosevelt Strike Group was participating.
Number 2, a commitment to destigmatizing UAP reporting.
Science requires data, which should be collected without bias or prejudice. Yet, whenever the topic of UAP arises, those who wish to explore the phenomena are often confronted with resistance and ridicule.
While the content of its testimonies varied significantly, one theme was a constant presence throughout unidentified anomalous phenomena exposing the truth, and it could even be described as its goal. That theme? The fact that Americans should never fear the consequences of speaking out in service of what they feel is right.
Equally concerning, last year's UAP hearing also revealed that elements of the government are engaged in a disinformation campaign to include personal attacks designed to discredit UAP whistleblowers. Having never signed a non-disclosure agreement regarding UAPs, and now as a private citizen, I've become an advocate for greater UAP transparency from the government.
In this case, that would be the stigma associated with UAP whistleblowing. Gold, Schellenberger, Elizondo, and Galladay all decried the alleged culture of silence and fear that prevented further study of UAPs. In particular, Gold noted that, quote, "The stigma prevents scientific inquiry, the best tool that we have to understand anomalies, from being fully applied," end quote.
Members of the NASA UAP independent study team, particularly those in academia, were mocked and even threatened for simply having the temerity to engage in the study of UAP.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into Settings and switch on your notifications. Number 1. Moscowitz versus Alzando.
I'm a recovering lawyer, so I'm going to put my hat on for a second. You said you signed a document. Love that. Who gave that to you?
The U.S. government, sir.
Okay, you have a copy of it?
It is stored in a SCIF right now. I do not have possession of it. The U.S. government does.
What department of the U.S. government gave you this document?
I will say the Department of Defense. Unfortunately, I can't say in this forum much more than that.
Overall, members of the public who were hungry for drama or earth-shattering revelations may have left the hearing disappointed. The general tone was cordial, and everyone involved spoke their mind without any great resistance from the congressional panel. However, this is with the notable exception of what threatened to be a heated exchange between Luis Alzando and Florida House Representative Jared Moscowitz.
You specifically said the document said you can't talk about crash retrieval. Well, you know, you can't talk about Fight Club if there's no Fight Club.
Correct.
Okay, I'm just making an observation.
The congressman jokingly referred to himself as a, quote, recovering lawyer before pressing Alzando on the documents that would guarantee his silence. At one point, a comparison to the 1999 film Fight Club caused the chamber to burst into laughter. Refreshingly, the exchange never devolved into mudslinging or name-calling, an outcome that seems almost unfathomable in 2024.
You're not some conspiracy theorist. You actually have a legitimate background.
Well, sir, I'm certainly not a conspiracy theorist. I'm fact-based, just say facts.
So when you're in this room, I want to paint the picture of everybody. You're in this room, you're by yourself, you're in a SCIF, you're handed a document. How long is the document?
It's about a page front and back.
What do you think will come of unidentified anomalous phenomena exposing the truth? Let us know in the comments below.
If there's no further business without objection, the subcommittee stands adjourned.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.